Ever wonder how some investors just seem to ride out market storms while others are, well, freaking out? Today's deep dive is all about that,
Hmm,
like the mindset you need for success, especially in a dynamic market like Singapore.
that makes sense.
We're diving into the world of AK.
Okay.
He's a dividend investor, built a six-figure passive income stream over 15 years.
Wow, impressive.
Super transparent, too, shares his whole portfolio online.
That's really rare. You don't see that too often.
Right, and he's got this crisis mentality approach, which we'll get into.
I'm intrigued already.
So in this YouTube interview, he keeps repeating, all investments are good investments. At the right price, he always adds. It's like his thing.
Gotta love a good mantra.
It shows his discipline, though, right?
Yeah.
He's all about value.
Not just chasing hype. I like it.
Exactly, and that leads him to dividends.
Makes sense.
Banks and REITs are his favorites, but for very specific reasons.
And I bet those reasons are tied to this crisis mentality.
Totally. But before we get into that, what does crisis mentality even mean for an investor like AK?
It's not about doomsday prepping, right?
Right. It's more about building those buffers,
Yeah,
like having
yeah.
the flexibility to jump on opportunities when everyone else is panicking.
So picture this. He's talking about his portfolio, super casual,
Okay.
and mentions storing gold and silver in a biscuit tin at home.
Interesting.
Like, who does that?
Right.
It makes you wonder if he's being a bit too cautious.
Could be. His background probably plays a role.
Definitely. But speaking of risk, let's get into why AK is leaning towards banks over REITs right now.
All right, let's dive in.
AK talks about how REITs used to be amazing.
Like yielding 12 to 17%
Oh, wow.
compared to banks back then, which were like 3%.
Big difference.
Huge. But he says now it's different. That gap's way smaller.
So why the bank love now?
That's what I want to know. He says they're undervalued.
Okay, so potential there.
Right. And it's not just about interest rates.
What else is he seeing?
He says banks have all these ways to make money.
Diversified.
Yeah, like fees for stuff,
Yeah.
wealth management, not just loans.
That makes them more resilient, right?
Exactly. And then he says, get this, banks hold on to more of their earnings.
Right.
Interesting, REITs have to pay out more to shareholders.
So for growth, banks might look better to him.
If you're reinvesting those dividends, for sure.
Makes you think long term.
And get this, his blog post is titled, Demand More from REITs.
He's not holding back
Nope. It's like he's challenging them.
to up their game, basically.
Totally. Shows yield isn't everything.
Right. Gotta look deeper,
Know the business, how they'll grow, all that.
especially in this market.
Volatility everywhere.
Exactly. But okay, curveball time.
Hit me.
Mr. Bank and Dividend over here.
Yeah.
He's into Bitcoin now.
Can you believe it? Not as an investment, though.
Really?
He calls it insurance. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's wild. But it kind of makes sense with his whole crisis mentality, right?
Right. Like it's his hedge against the dollar going belly up.
Total currency collapse, yeah. You don't see that every day.
But it's that willingness to think differently.
Not just stuck in the old ways. Yeah.
Exactly. So then there's his cash. A lot of it.
He's just sitting on it.
Oh, he's using it, just not in the stock market right now.
Oh, so
Buying bonds, getting ready for those right prices to pop up.
smart. Having that cash is power.
Ready to jump when you see a deal.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But is now the time to be so cash heavy?
He did mention the Fed cutting rates, like maybe a recession's coming.
Tricky. There's no easy answer there.
But AK shows us how important risk management is no matter what.
For sure. Gotta have a plan.
Speaking of which, his last bit of advice really stuck with me.
Shoot.
He goes, and I'm paraphrasing, were you even waiting for the boat?
What does that even mean?
It's about FOMO, that fear of missing out.
Oh, like chasing the hot stock?
He's saying, were you even interested before everyone else was?
Makes you think about your own goals.
Right. And then he says, and this is gold, don't blindly follow experts, especially on YouTube.
Yeah, labs. Especially on YouTube, he's right.
So there you have it. AK, the dividend investor with a crisis mentality. A bit of gold in a biscuit tin and a surprising take on Bitcoin.
It's a wild mix, but he makes you think.
Shows investing is more than just numbers. It's about mindset.
Long-term thinking, knowing yourself, adapting to whatever the market throws at you.
So what resonated most with you? Are you team bank, team REIT, or team I need to buy a bigger biscuit tin?
Let us know on social media. This is a good one to unpack